tires, they can just drive down the block. It will, capture the license plate number on the car, and it will timestamp it and date stamp it so that anybody can just be driving in the area, and right away they'll know whether it's been there for more than 2 hours or not. So it'll be a lot more efficient use of the officer's time, and that will also allow us to identify vehicles that have been there for more than 72 hours or vehicles that are stolen.
Lee Gerst here, raise their hand. This question has to do with businesses that have dumpsters out on the sidewalk, putting other building materials out on the sidewalk that block car drivers' views. What can be done about that?
Street Service has an investigation and enforcement division that handles issues on public right-of-way. If there's a dumpster on a sidewalk, if there's A-frame signs, if people put out chairs in front of a restaurant, if they don't have a permit, you need to call 311 and they will have a district investigator come out and investigate, and he can issue a notice. It's actually called, it's a nuisance notice, advising them that it is illegal.
Beverly, no last name, and Scott Edwards, raise their hand, stand up. They're asking the same question. What can you do about the psychic reading sign on a residence?
Is it on private property?
Yes,
or is it on the sidewalk?
On private property.
Actually, the sign is allowed. There's an ordinance in the city that has been reworked, and it's almost, I think it's almost completely passed. But the code did not allow these signs to be there before. It only allowed certain signs for daycare to be on a home where the business would be allowed to be in there. But that was challenged in court by a number of businesses that they were given special treatment to the daycare and didn't allow their signs to be at their home occupation. So the court basically issued an injunction for enforcement on those. Right now, as I mentioned, there's an ordinance that has been drafted, and it's getting close to being done where it's going to limit the size, but they will be allowed to have them on there.
Christy Young asked, who do you call if there's a sliding slope between two single-family residences?
That would be the Department of Building and Safety.
Peter Vukovic has a question. Are outdoor fireplaces legal if they have a stack that emits smoke in a neighbor's home or yard? What does the city do about polluting chimneys?
I guess on the air quality issue, you might have to call the AQMD on that. If somebody has a fireplace on the house, the Department of Building Safety, we just make sure that it was permitted and inspected. But we don't do any enforcement on the actual smoke from it going into the air or wherever it travels.
There's some other questions here, but I'll ask one final one and then come up and ask all your questions, follow-up questions, and new questions for the panel here. But let's give them a hand for coming out tonight.
Before you leave tonight, we're going to have another question. Before you leave, all the stuff that's on your table, the garbage, if you can please pick it up and throw it away. Otherwise, Jules is going to be here all night, and he won't be able to go home and do his wife.
The last question has to do with trees. And the question is, two very large, old, diseased elm trees were removed from the parkway 2 years ago. We assumed that something would be planted within a year or so. What can you do about it?
I just need to get the name of that person, and I can see that those trees get replaced.
Yes. One other comment here.
Could you give the telephone numbers of all of these people so we could contact them?
That's a great idea.
Okay. Go ahead, say something and we'll get the telephone.
First off, I would like to thank you for asking Ron and myself to come and speak tonight for our Bureau. I just want to assure you, I know it sounds like city employees don't do enough. Many of us are shorthanded, and I know you've heard that, but most city employees do care about doing a good job, doing the best job that they humanly can. Many of the employees in the Bureau of Street Services do work out of their classification. They do jobs above their classification. So if you think that we don't care, we do. The one thing we do would like to ask you is to please call 311. If we don't respond right away, It's only because of the sheer number of requests that we get, but at least your request will be on record, and you can call back, find out, what's happening with your request, and if the operator sees that they haven't gotten a response, they will put you in touch with the supervisor, especially the street maintenance supervisors that handle the district yards. So thank you again.